So when you're learning chords in the beginning, what you will notice are things called chord graphs or chord charts. And it looks like a graph of the guitar standing straight up and down, and you see where all the strings go, where you're supposed to put your fingers. So basically what you're looking at is like a square that has 6 strings. And if you look at those strings, this would be string 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Those are all the strings. So really, the 6th string is on the left side. So if we're strumming down, we're actually strumming this direction. It'd be strumming down on the guitar. Now we're going to start with A, an A major chord. So what we're going to do, first of all, these numbers don't usually correspond to the strings. I was just demonstrating what those string numbers are, but the numbers on the bottom are going to be different, and we'll see in a second. So the first thing with any chord chart is you're going to draw some lines here, and you don't have to do too many. You can leave a good amount of space. So these are the frets on the guitar, and these are the strings going straight across. So what we're going to start with an A chord is we're going to put 3 dots right here. So that means that those are where you're going to put your fingers on the guitar on the 2nd frets. Because this whole line here would be the 1st fret, so this is the 2nd fret of the guitar. Now, also you'll notice with an A chord, there'll be like these circles at the top here, and an X over on the top left like that. Now at the bottom you might see these numbers 1, 2, and 3. So in order to play that, what we're basically going to do is we're going to put our fingers down in the position to match what's going on in the shape here. So really what they're showing is the guitar straight up and down like this. So they're saying strumming this way is strumming down. So if I'm strumming down on the guitar, if I'm holding it this way, it might be easier to see. That's going this way on the chord, right? So it's showing you straight up and down. So what they're saying are to put your 3 fingers in this spot right here and strum this way. Or if I'm holding the guitar normal, I'm going to strum down. So what you can really see here, I have my 1st, 2nd, and 3rd finger on the guitar playing the 2nd frets, starting on the 4th string, and then the 3rd string, and the 2nd string. My fingers are all pushing down the 2nd frets there. Even though it's written here in a straight line, I have to curve my fingers in order to fit them in the fret. You can't really hold a perfect straight line with your fingers. So it actually comes out kind of curved like this. See that? Okay? Then what you do is you're going to play the bottom 5 strings. Okay, the reason for that is because this one has an X. So this one tells you do not play this string, which is the one on the top. So this means open, means I can play the open string. Then here's where my 3 fingers are, and then there's another open string that can be played. So that means that all bottom 5 strings, hold it up here, can be played like this. See that? Okay, and again the shape looks like this. And I'm also kind of putting my thumb behind here to hold the chord in place, kind of in the middle of all my fingers. Now an A chord can also be commonly played with 1 finger, just like this. When you do it like that though, it's hard to get that open 1st string in there. So, but if you're playing like a lot of, like you're gonna do it like that with 1 finger, barring across the strings rather than all 3 fingers, because it's faster. But it depends on the sound you want. Both are fine, they're both common. Okay, now going up the alphabet, we're gonna play a B chord. So I like to teach chords in alphabetical order. That way you get all of them and you don't leave any out. So the B chord is not a chord that we're going to commonly play a lot in the beginning until you learn how to do bar chords to really get a good B chord sound. But I just want you to understand a really easy way to play the B chord that works, and it's very simple. So for the B chord, my super easy B chord, all you have to do is take an A chord, which was here, and move it up 2 frets. And you're just going to play those 3 notes. This is the easiest way to play a B chord. So instead of being on 2, 2, 2, we're actually going to go up to the 4th fret here. So this is 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and 4th fret. So now we're on the 4th fret, and we're just going to do the same thing as before. Fingers 1, 2, 3. And now we're not going to play any open strings. We just want to play those 3 notes. So again, we're taking our A chord shape, and we're just sliding it up 1 fret, 2 frets. So same shape as A chord, but we're sliding it up 2 frets like that, okay? Then we're just going to play those 3 strings. It's a very easy way to play a B chord. Because later we're going to learn to do bar chords where you play it, you know, or this, or like this. But right now, we just want to take an A chord and slide it up 2 frets, and we got our B chord here. Okay, and for the C chord, we're going to play with 3 fingers. So the 3rd finger is going to go here, 2nd finger on the 4th string, then your 1st finger ends up here on the 2nd string. And the fingers are 3, 2, 1. And you can play these open strings, and this one is an X. So we can play all bottom 5 strings with the C chord shape. So again, the C chord you can see in the picture behind me is going to have these 3 fingers. So see that here? So I got my 3rd finger right here on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, 2nd finger right here on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and 1st finger here on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. And I can play all bottom 5 strings to play your C chord. And just like that, you see that? So we're not going to play this top string because there's an X there. We can play all bottom 5. Okay, and with the D chord, you can see that we also use 3 fingers. On this chord, we have 2 X's, so we're not going to play the 6th or 5th string, but we're going to play an open D string, or the 4th string. And then we're going to put our 1st finger here, 2nd finger here, then the 3rd finger is going to go down in the middle, kind of creating an upside down triangle shape. So the D chord is like this. So we start with our 1st finger here on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Then we take our 2nd finger and put it on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. So we're skipping over the 2nd string here. You see that, how I'm skipping the string? Then I take the 3rd finger and put it down here on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So you play all bottom 4 strings because there's 2 X's on those 2, so we only have 4 left to play. That's how you play a D chord. You can do it like this also, barring your finger, but if you're going, but for the most part you're going to play it like this. And now we have our E chord. So the E chord is one of the chords we can play all 6 strings on the guitar. So it sounds great. The guitar loves E. Okay, so for the E chord, we're going to start with our 2nd finger here on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. Then we're going to take our 3rd finger and put it on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Then we're going to take our 1st finger here and put it on the 1st fret of the 3rd string. And again, you can play all 6 strings of the E chord. And then we have our easy version of doing the F chord, basically the 3-finger version. You will see a lot of other versions of playing the F chord where you bar this finger up here or play, you know, a C in the bass or something. Right now we're just going to do the simplest shape that we can do. So the concept here, you basically have taken a C chord, which would have the 2 fingers here, and moved them over, so now you have all 3 fingers in a direct row, or a staircase, if you think of it that way. So for the F chord, we're just going to play those 3 strings for this very simple version of the F chord. Okay? So all you need is your first 3 fingers to be in a row. So 3rd finger here on the 3rd fret of the 4th string, 2nd finger here on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then 1st finger here on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. And you just play those 3 strings with your thumb, or with a pick. Easy F. And then we're on to the last of our major chords from A to G. G is the last one. This is another chord that you can play all 6 strings on. The guitar loves the key of G. And you make this shape here. You're going to have your 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string at the top here. Then you're going to have your 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. And then you're going to stretch all the way down. Your 3rd finger here is going to go on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. See how it stretches all the way to this side like that? So at first it might seem kind of like a weird stretch, but once you get used to it, it sounds great and it actually is a nice chord. All 6 strings. Okay? Okay, now on to the minor chords. So we're going to start with A minor. So you might recognize this shape from the E major chord. The A minor is the same shape, just moved over 1 string down this way. So you basically take the same shape you do for an E major chord here, and you move each finger down a string like this. And then you play all bottom 5 strings. It sounds like this. A minor, bottom 5 strings. And an easy way to do B minor in the beginning is just on the first 3 strings. So you're going to basically be here on the first 3 strings of the guitar, playing frets 4, 3, 2, going from the 3rd string down. Okay? Now for the C minor chord, you can just move that up a half step and you get the exact same shape with the C minor. So I'm not going to write that one down. B minor's here, C minor's up 1/2 step. Okay? That's all it is. For a D minor, we're going to do a different kind of shape here where we have our 2nd finger here, 3rd finger, then 1st finger. Then we have one open string being the 4th string, which is D. And then we're going to not play the 5th or 6th string. So for D minor, we're putting our 2nd finger here on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. We're taking our 3rd finger here, putting it on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. And then we're taking our 1st finger and putting it on the 1st string, 1st fret. So all together it looks like this. And you're going to play all bottom 4 strings, and that's D minor. Hear that? Okay, and so then we have E minor. E minor is a very easy chord to play. It sounds great on the guitar. A lot of guitarists love playing E minor in the beginning. The reason is it sounds really good because it takes all 6 strings on the guitar and you only have to put 2 fingers down. So you put your 2nd and 3rd finger right here on the 2nd frets of the 5th string and 4th string. So it's like this, you see? And you play all 6 strings. That's a cool chord. Okay, and our last 2 chords are F minor and G minor. So F minor and G minor are the same shape, same type of chord, just like B minor and C minor, but we're going to move those and take the same shape and move it. So F minor is on the 1st fret. We have these first 3 dots here. If we move this down to 3, 3, 3 instead of 1, 1, 1, we go down to the 3rd fret, it becomes G minor. Okay, so we're going to just take this same thing and apply it to G. So basically with F minor, you can play it as an A chord if you want to, like fingers 1, 2, 3. So you get a similar shape as an A chord. So if I were to go like this, like playing an A chord but moving it down to the first 3 strings on the 1st frets, and you play just the first bottom 3 strings only. Okay? That's kind of a weird feeling though for me, like to have those 3 fingers up here. So I would usually play it with just 1 finger barred like that. You can put your finger on top or not. But you hold down all 3 strings and play the bottom 3 with your finger, okay? And again, like I said, for a G minor, we're going to go up to the 3rd fret and just do that. So just like that. F minor is 1, 1, 1. G minor is 3, 3, 3. All right. Also, another thing I should note is, in the beginning when you learn songs, you're not going to really play a lot of songs with difficult chords. So, for example, we don't play a lot of songs that have B major, or even F sometimes. We play songs that have more like G, D, A, and E and stuff like that. Or A minor, E minor, and D minor are also very easy to play chords in the beginning because they use open positions. So just so you know, we're going to learn songs that use easier chords. We just wanted to learn all the different shapes so we can go through the musical alphabet on the chords. So we can go from A to G in major chords or in minor chords, okay? But like I said in the beginning, we're just going to play a lot of songs that have like a C major to E minor, A minor, G major, like, you know, simple chords, and that's how you get, you know, your confidence up and get used to it. And then as we get more advanced, we start to learn about things called bar chords, which make it a lot easier to play a lot of those other chords in different positions, like a B chord, B minor, or B major, for example. And another thing I should add is when you're learning in the beginning about the notes in music and also the chords on guitar and all of that stuff together, it's good to have a couple books that you can reference that kind of contain all this information that you can go back to and reference and have in physical form. So these are 2 books that I highly recommend for any musician, especially a guitar player. This book right here, Harmony in Theory, works for all musicians. It's a great book that it's made by the Musicians Institute. And it basically takes you through so many different elements of music theory, has exercises where you can write down the notes and all of that. So this is kind of my go-to book for students in the beginning to just have at least a copy of it. And for guitar, the good old Mel Bay Guitar Method Grade 1 is a great book to have. You know, it just shows you the basics of how to hold the guitar, the basic notes on the guitar, chord shapes, all of that kind of stuff. So if you have at least these 2 books, I think it's a pretty good start.